Here is the recap of the first season of Ahsoka. In order to understand some of the points in Ahsoka, you had to have watched the Clone Wars animated series, as well as Rebels in the Star Wars movie universe. However, for your convenience, I will clarify such points. Let's start with the fact that in the past, General Thrawn, a brilliant strategist, was a significant figure in the Galactic Empire. He was almost idolized by the soldiers, and thanks to him, the Empire won one victory after another. In the animated series Rebels, he was constantly hindered by the Ghost Crew. It included several characters who will appear in the series Ahsoka. In the final season, the young Jedi Ezra, with the help of the space whales Peridea, sends the villain along with himself to an unknown galaxy from which they will not be able to escape. These events eventually lead in part to the fall of the Empire. 9 years have passed. Ezra's best friend named Sabine still believes the guy is alive. We aren't shown this, but the girl was trained by Ahsoka in Jedi skills some time ago, as she is Force-sensitive. However, being a Mandalorian, Sabine was a very stubborn Padawan, and Ahsoka dropped out of her training. I would also like to note the events in Ahsoka's series will take place almost at the same time as Mandalorian Season 3. Meanwhile, a New Republic cruiser is invaded by two lightsaber-wielding mercenaries, former Jedi Baylan Skoll and his apprentice Shin Hati. They free Lady Morgan Elsbeth, who was captured by Ahsoka in the second season of the Mandalorian series. It turns out Elsbeth is convinced that General Thrawn is not dead and has been trying to find him all these years. After being freed, she and her mercenaries head to her base to continue her search. At this time, Ahsoka also believes that Thrawn is not dead and tries to get ahead of her enemies. Since if he returns, it could lead to a new war, due to the fact that the former Imperials consider Thrawn to be the last hope for the Galactic Empire. Ahsoka finds a map in an ancient temple that is rumored to lead to Thrawn, but loyal droid Huyang can't decipher it. First, she goes to General Hera Syndulla, who is the former leader of the very same Ghost Crew. She and Ahsoka have been through many missions together. Unfortunately, the New Republic also could not decipher the map, so the protagonist goes to her former student Sabine, who specializes in such things. At first, Ahsoka and Sabine are having a disagreement, but soon the girl manages to decipher the map, as she hopes to use it to find her friend Ezra. However, at that moment they are attacked by Elsbeth's droids along with Shin Hati and take away the map. A disappointed Sabine wants to continue her training, and Ahsoka takes her back as her Padawan. The only clue leads to Corellia, where factories have been disassembling Imperial cruisers since the overthrow of the Empire. The protagonists uncover a conspiracy of villains and see Elsbeth's servants steal a huge hyperdrive. They soon track down where they're going to deliver it, and discover that they are building some unusual spaceship with 8 such hyperdrives. During the battle, the protagonist's ship gets damaged and they have to land on the nearest planet. At this time, Hera asks the Senate of the New Republic to send the protagonist's help. But no one believes that General Thrawn is still alive. The senators believe that Hera is using her position for personal purposes and do not give her permission to leave. However, the Hera and her loyal men go to help Ahsoka. Meanwhile, Elsbeth shows Baylan and Shin Hati a map. As we know, the action of Star Wars takes place in one galaxy and no one could get to the other, as there is simply not enough fuel. However, there are space whales called Peridea that are able to travel such far distances. There is a legend that whales at the end of their lives go to another galaxy, and they have made their way there. Elsbeth knows about this path and also has the technology to travel such a long distance. All she needed was a map. How she knows this, I will tell you later. Shin Hati asks his teacher why he is helping the Empire, to which he replies that he has his own goals. For many thousands of years, the galaxy has been going in circles, repeating the same mistakes time after time. Jedi, Sith, Republic, Empire. It's all been repeated many times. Baylan feels that in another galaxy he can gain the power to break the cycle, leading to the greater good. Soon, Ahsoka and Sabine find Elsbeth's base on the planet and attempt to retrieve the map before the villains decipher it. However, Baylan takes Ahsoka off balance with his talk and defeats her in battle, after which the woman falls into the ocean. Sabine at first wants to destroy the map so that Elsbeth cannot find General Thrawn, but in this case the girl will never be able to return Ezra. So Sabine gives the map to the villains on the condition that she is allowed to meet her friend when they arrive in another galaxy. At this time, Hera and her squad arrive on the planet and witness some unusual spaceship making a hyper jump. Upon descending to the planet, Hera doesn't find the main characters, but her son, who is Force-sensitive, notices something strange in the ocean. Meanwhile, Ahsoka comes to her senses in a strange place you may have seen in the Rebels animated series. It's called the World Between Worlds and exists roughly outside of time and space. Ahsoka meets the ghost of Anakin Skywalker, though perhaps it was all in her head. Anakin was her teacher in the past during the Clone Wars, but never completed her training. The characters are transported from one time to another where they relive traumatic events. Ahsoka knows that Darth Vader is Anakin. She worries that her legacy is only death and war. This is why she hesitates and loses to Baylan. However, she soon realizes that she can choose her own destiny. Ahsoka fights Anakin and defeats him, but decides to spare him, thus showing her good side. Suddenly the world turns into water and the Ahsoka finds herself in the ocean, after which she is rescued by Hera's men. The protagonists realize that they have no map, and no ship capable of jumping to a neighboring galaxy either. It would seem that there is no solution. However, Ahsoka decides to take a risk. She finds a group of space whales and with the help of Force convinces Pagel to take them to another galaxy. The largest whale opens its mouth and Ahsoka's ship flies into it, after which the pack makes the jump. Meanwhile, Hera and her son return to the base, where she is brought before the Council, who want to punish her for her disobedience. However, Leia Organa has sent her faithful droid C-3PO, who helps Hera escape punishment. Elsbeth and her mercenaries arrive at their destination to the planet Dathomir. They land and are greeted by the Witches of Dathomir. It turns out that long ago Elsbeth's ancestors lived here and once traveled to the galaxy where the main events take place. Upon arriving here, Thrawn awakened the Witches, who can use the Force, but in a completely different way than the Jedi and Sith. The Witches sent visions and dreams to Elsbeth, and it was through them that she learned how to get here. Soon an Imperial cruiser arrives with Thrawn and his loyal stormtroopers. Even though Thrawn considers Sabine his enemy, he is grateful that she is the reason he can get out of here. So he allows her to go after Ezra, who is hiding somewhere on this planet. Then Thrawn orders to load some containers on the ship and prepare for departure. We'll never know what's in those containers, but there are several thousand of them. Ahsoka and Hyang arrive at the planet Dathomir in a space whale mouth, but gets caught in a minefield. Thrawn learns who is pursuing him and also that her teacher was Anakin Skywalker. Being familiar with his tactics from the Clone Wars, he assumes Ahsoka will be like her teacher, so he strategizes around that. He makes sure the Jedi get as far away from them as possible and sends his stormtroopers after them, as well as Baylan and Shin Hati. The former Jedi informs his apprentice that he senses some kind of power here beyond anything he has seen before. He allows Shin Hati to follow his ambitions within the ranks of the Empire, while he himself leaves for an unknown destination. In the final shots of the season, we see him looking at a mountain with an orange glow coming from it, and he's standing on a giant statue of the so-called Mortis gods. We've seen them in the Clone Wars animated series, and they're some sort of semi-divine beings from another galaxy, so Baylan's search probably has something to do with them. Meanwhile, Sabine tries to find Ezra and runs into local bandits. Soon she discovers some Aborigines who look like turtles. She sees a Jedi symbol on one of them and realizes that they have met Ezra somewhere. The turtles lead her to their settlement where she is reunited with her old friend. They are soon attacked by stormtroopers with Shin Hati, but Ahsoka manages to arrive in time to help. Ezra makes himself a new lightsaber and the three of them head to the villain's main tower, where loading and preparations for departure are well underway. Thrawn learns that the Jedi have been reunited and orders the Witches to detain them while the ships are docked. The Witches give Elsbeth the power and send her to fight the main characters. At first, the trio encounters stormtroopers, but after the heroes kill them, the Witches resurrect the soldiers and zombies pursue the Jedi. Soon they meet Elsbeth and Ahsoka engages her in battle, but the new witch surpasses her in strength. Ezra and Sabine don't make it to the boarding platform in time. But from the last of his strength, the guy makes it to the villain's spaceship with the help of the Force. He disguises himself as a stormtrooper and flies away with Thrawn. Meanwhile, Sabine returns to help her teacher, and together they manage to defeat Elsbeth and the remaining stormtroopers. Sabin is upset that they failed to stop Thrawn and now they won't be able to get out of this galaxy. However, Ahsoka realizes that they stayed here for a reason and fate itself is leading them. Plus, we are shown that Shin Hati also stayed on Datamir and joined the local bandits. Upon arrival in his home galaxy, Ezra steals a fighter from Thrawn's ship and makes his way to a New Republic cruiser where he meets his former commander, Hera. This is the end of the first season. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the like button. Thanks for watching, goodbye!